Welcome to Life, Finance, and Real Estate, where we discuss how to make smart money moves, the ever changing real estate market, and of course, things going on in life. And here to talk about it more with you is your host, Kirby the Realtor.
Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around. You can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit. Ain't no way around it. And it's up. Yeah. And it's up. Yeah. Pedal to the metal, headed to the top. Swerving around the block, this be getting hot. It's so hot. The Holy got a purpose, I can't ever stop. I got Lamborghini, mercy on me. I'm outside with the crew. Look at that, deja vu. Not with the trap, but I'm still on the move. Holy got the Holy Ghost, I'm jumping through the roof. I was down, but I up. Stayed down, came up. God made a way. Stayed down, came up. God made a way. Stayed down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around, or you can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit. Ain't no way around it. Running in the spirit.
Hey family, hey family, hey family. This is your girl Kirby the Realtor, and welcome back to Life, Finance, and Real Estate. Yes, it is me. Listen, before we even start today, I want to take a moment to say thank you. First, I want to thank you. Thank you, Lord, for the voice you have given me to share with the world. But then, y'all, I want to say thank you to everyone who tunes in every single week, to the ones that's been with me since December. Thank you to the listeners who send emails, texts, and phone calls. Thank you to the people who share encouraging words, who share feedback, and who ask the questions. I want you to know that I truly, truly appreciate it, because this show exists to serve you. And last week, y'all, something happened that really touched my heart that I want to share real quick. I met a couple who didn't know me personally, but they recognized my voice. And I knew that they did because I was on the phone with the client. I was on the phone and I heard my name and I smiled and I waved at them. But when I got on that phone, I was like, hey, how are you guys? How do you know me? Because I heard them say my name and then they said Kirby the Realtor. And they said the radio. And y'all, that moment really humbled me, because it reminded me that this show is reaching people I may never meet face to face. People are actually listening that are driving to work, they're cooking dinner, people that are on their lunch breaks, they're folding clothes, they're washing clothes, people listening while they're trying to figure out life. They're trying to figure out their finances. They're trying to figure out their future. And y'all, I am so grateful for that, because I truly believe that God is pleased when we use our voices in our platforms to help others. And if something I say on this show helps someone think differently or make better decisions or take a step towards ownership, then I know that I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. So thank you for listening. Thank you for the encouragement. And thank you for being a part of this journey. Now, this is your first time listening. Welcome to the family. This is Life, Finance, and Real Estate, where we talk about life decisions, financial discipline, and real estate ownership, and how all three work together so that you can own a piece of America. Now, y'all, today's episode is going to be very impactful, because we're going to talk about something that quietly drains dreams. It delays your destinies, and it costs you money every single day. And it's fear, it's procrastination, it's standing still. And sometimes people think standing still is a safe option. They think doing nothing is a safe option. But listen, standing still can actually become one of the most expensive decisions a person can make. Because while you're standing still, life is going to continue to keep moving. The prices will continue to rise, and opportunities will continue to keep passing you by. But before we move forward, let's take a look back. We're going to recap last week, episode 11. We talked about understanding money so that money can work for you. And we heard it from Mr. Charles himself, my financial advisor. And he was letting us know it's not how hard you hustle, not the grind, but understanding how money actually behaves. Because when you understand how money works, you start controlling your money instead of your money controlling you. And if you've been following me, you know I talk about that what I spend sheet a lot. And I tell you, and the budget, but I tell you, it's better to tell your money where to go instead of you trying to figure out where your money is going. So how money works, start controlling your money instead of your money controlling you. We talked about 4 things last week. We talked about the power of the dollar. We talked about what inflation really means, why Roth IRAs matter, and the difference between stocks and mutual funds. Now, we had a little fun with the stocks and mutual funds. He told y'all how to look those up on Google, and that was quite insightful. So, these 4 things, I want you to write them down. The power of the dollar, what inflation really means, why Roth IRAs matter, and the difference between stocks and mutual funds. Because many of these things were never taught to us growing up, okay? Okay, so we started with something very simple, and it was the dollar. And I say it's simple because most people feel like the dollar isn't powerful. They feel like, oh, the dollar ain't nothing. You can't buy nothing with a dollar and whatever. Let me tell y'all something. The dollar is very easy to spend and easy to overlook, but the dollar is powerful because of what it represents. A dollar represents your time. I want you to write this down. A dollar represents my time. A dollar represents your time, your effort, your energy, your life hours. Let me give you an example. I'm going to let you see what this looks like. Now, I'm going to give you some numbers, but you can plug in your numbers. If you earn $25 an hour, $25 an hour, and every $25 you spend equals 1 hour of your life, okay? So you earn $25 an hour. So let's say if you do $30 an hour, then you will stick it there. If you do 19, you'll stick it in that number. We're going to do 25 to keep it simple so that you can add, okay? If you earn $25 an hour, every $25 you spend equals 1 hour of your life. So $100 impulse purchase costs you 4 hours of your life. Those $100 shoes that you did not need, that steak and lobster that you did not need. But if you think about it, and when you spend it, it costs you 4 hours of your life. That changes how you see money because, listen, money is not just paper. Money is stored time. And when you spend it without intentions, you are spending your life. Let me make this real for 1 second. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't really need, okay? Maybe it was something online. Maybe it was something quick that you ran to the store to get. Maybe it was something you don't even remember buying now. Now think about how many hours you worked to earn that money. Think about it. Because once you start connecting your money to time, your decisions begin to change. And you stop asking the question, can I afford this? And you start asking better questions like, is this worth my time? Because time is the one thing you can never get back. You can't get time back. Always remember that. You can't get time back. Let me slow down for just a second because a lot of things we talk about is things that we weren't taught, that I wasn't taught growing up. We knew how to save money, but we weren't taught the things or the questions to ask. Most people were taught how to make money, but we weren't taught how to think about money. We were taught how to work hard, pay bills, keep moving, get a job. When you get the job, you're going to work hard. When you work hard, you get your paycheck, you pay your bills, repeat. Get a job, work hard, pay your bills, repeat. But nobody really sat us down and said, I want you to always remember every dollar you spend represents hours of your life. Nope. I don't think anyone on here can tell me that Now, if they did, you were blessed. But no one that I have spoken with was ever told that every dollar you spend represents hours of your life. So when you buy something you don't really need, it's not just money leaving your checking account. It's hours off of your life leaving your future. It's hours of your life leaving your future. If someone works 8 hours a day and earns $200 that day, and you don't work 8 hours and you earn $200, and then you turn around, get off work, you spend $200, and a week later you trying to figure out where that money went. That means a whole day of your life was exchanged for something temporary because you don't even know where your money went. But when that same money is used to invest, to build credit, to move towards ownership, that money begins working for you. So the question becomes, are your dollars working for you? Or are your dollars leaving you? Because every dollar has a job. And if you don't give your money instructions or directions, it disappears without permission. Your money ain't gonna ask you, are you okay if I disappear? It disappears without permission. Okay, next we talked about inflation. We talked about what inflation really means. Inflation means your money loses buying power over time. See, things cost more, but your dollars don't grow on their own. So that money sitting in that checking account and just sitting there, sitting in the safe deposit box, sitting in your drawer, it's just sitting there. It's shrinking in value. It's not doing anything. It's just sitting there. See, 10 years ago, you could have took $100 and filled your grocery cart. And this 10 years ago, I'm trying to think back 10 years ago, I don't even think we could fill it then, but we're going to go with that. Today, the same 100 might fill it halfway. That's inflation. See, I went to the grocery store on yesterday. No, I went to the grocery store Tuesday. Tuesday was Taco Tuesday. Went to the grocery store. I got ground beef. I got onions, bell peppers. I got cheese and pico. I got queso. And I got the tortilla shells. I think I spent about $35, right? Now, 10 years ago, it probably only took me $13 to $16 to buy all of that. That's it. That's inflation. Inflation shows up in the grocery store. Inflation shows up at the gas pump. We are all feeling that. Trust me, I'm feeling it. Inflation shows up in rent increases. And if your income continues to stay the same while these prices rise, your lifestyle slowly gets squeezed. And that's why financial education matters. The goal is not just for you to earn money. The goal is to position your money so it grows faster than inflation. Let me say that again. Your goal should not just be to earn money. The goal should be to position your money so that it grows faster than inflation. Now, we talked about Roth IRAs. Thirdly, Roth IRAs is a retirement account where you invest money now and it grows over time, and then you withdraw it later tax-free, right? Let me give you an example. If you invest $200 starting at the age of 25 and you stay consistent, that money can grow into that money can grow into thousands of dollars over time, right? Small, consistent moves equals big, long-term results. It's that simple. It's retirement. Invest $200 a month. I didn't say you stop and then start back. You have to do this consistently. $200 a month. That money begins to grow, and it can turn to thousands over time. That was the Roth IRAs. Now, stock versus mutual funds. Stocks mean you're buying a piece of one company. If that company grows, your investment grows. If that company struggles, then your investment drops. You got higher risk, but you also have higher reward potential. Now the mutual funds, I call them it's a little safer, right? Safer. Your mutual funds are different. They spread your money across many companies. So instead of betting on one business, you invest in a group. And that lowers your risk because your money isn't tied to one outcome. I want you to think of it like this. Stock is putting all your hope in that one player. And a mutual fund is investing in the whole team, right? That's how you can look at it. That's how you can decipher. And that brings us to today's real question. If we understood money like we should, why do so many people still delay making better financial decisions? Why do people wait years to invest? Why do people wait years to buy property? Why do people wait years to change their financial habits? Why? And if we can get a little personal, you can say, why do I delay making financial decisions? Why do I forget? Well, I ain't gonna say forget, but why do I procrastinate and not fill out the what I spend sheet and create a budget? Why? Why do people wait years to do these things? And that answer usually comes down to three things: fear, procrastination, and standing still. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Experience is the hardest teacher. Yeah, I heard that. Experience is the hardest teacher, but it's also the best teacher. Why is it the best teacher, Kirby? Well, let me tell you. Because it gives you the test first and the lesson afterwards. Think about that. Experience is the hardest teacher, but it's also the best teacher. It gives you the test first and the lesson afterward. In school, we get lessons, homework, study, then we test, right? But see, life flips it. Life gives you the test first, then the experience, then the lesson, then the growth. You either win or you learn, okay? I know we're used to hearing to win or lose, but you're going to either win or you're going to learn. You're going to learn life lessons. So you get tested and then you learn afterwards. So let me give you an example. How many of you have done things and you was like, man, that was rough. We made it, but I bet you I won't do it like that anymore. We went through that test. We went through those trials. We went through that storm, but we learned a lesson in the middle of it. We learned what to do and what not to do, right? There's so many things that I learned on this journey these last 4 years of owning real estate brokers. There's so many things that I learned not to do or things that I learned to do better. I went through those tests and those trials and I learned from them. And I'm grateful for them. But experience taught me that, right? If I hadn't have experienced those situations or those issues, I wouldn't have learned, right? So that's how you have to look at that. So let's talk about procrastination. How do we overcome procrastination in the things we want to do? Okay? First, think about the worst thing that could happen if it does not work. Then think about the best thing that could happen if it does. And then I want you to look at both sides. Somebody right now is faced with a dilemma. Somebody right now is trying to figure out, what if I don't do it? Or what if I do it? Look at both sides. Because even if something does not work, now you know what needs to be done to fix it. Okay? So that's the part about procrastination. If it doesn't work, if you tried and it doesn't work, now you know what to do to fix it. But if you never try, you'll never know, right? See, one time I was speaking with someone, and it was a couple of years back, and we were in a room, and somebody made a comment that said, procrastination is my problem. And then another person proceeded to say, no, it's not. And then they were like, well, explain. And this person said, well, let me ask you something. If I told you for 5 days straight, if you showed up to work at 5 a.m., on time at 5 a.m., not pulling up, but in the office at 5 a.m. for 5 days straight, I would give you $1 million. Would you do it? And that person said, absolutely. And the response for the other person was like, see, procrastination is not your problem. There's another issue here. And that issue is entitlement issue. That issue is you didn't have a reward on the other end. If there was a reward, then you would do it. So you have to look at procrastination in different ways. So today, we have to get to the heart of it. We are going to find out why you procrastinate. And we're going to give you some solutions to help you move past it. Most of the time, it comes down to three things. First, fear. Fear that it will not work, fear of failing, fear of what people might think. So instead of risking failure, people delay action. Secondly, being overwhelmed. Sometimes the goal is so big that we don't even know where to start. When something feels too big, the mind pushes it aside and says, I'll deal with it later. And thirdly, perfectionism. A lot of us deal with this one. You want everything to be perfect before you move forward. You want all the pieces in place before you move forward. A lot of people procrastinate because they want everything to be perfect before they start. Perfect time, perfect knowledge, perfect plan. But here is the truth. Progress never begins with perfection. So how do we move past procrastination? Here are just some simple solutions. First, you make your task smaller. Instead of saying, I'm going to change my whole life, say, today I'm going to take one step. Second, schedule the action. It's not just on your calendar. It usually does not happen. So you have to make sure it's on your calendar. I know oftentimes one of my mentors says, hey, what's your schedule looking like? And I'm like, I ain't got one. Yeah, got to get better with that. But schedule the action. If it's not on your calendar, it usually does not happen. Third, accept imperfection actions. Done is better than perfect. Movement creates momentum. And finally, remember the cost of waiting. Remember that procrastination always costs something. And sometimes it costs time. Sometimes it costs opportunities. Sometimes it costs money. So the real question is not, can I afford to start? Sometimes the real question is, can I afford to keep waiting? Let me ask you something. If someone said, walk 30 minutes a day, and in 6 months your body will change. Some people quit in 2 weeks, not because it doesn't work, but because the reward feels so far away. And that's how ownership is. Ownership works the same way. Equity grows slowly. Credit builds gradually. Confidence develops over time. But the reward is real. It's real. Fear is expensive. And sometimes people don't realize just how expensive fear really is. Fear can cost money when you delay making the decisions. It can cost money when you delay investing. It costs you money when you delay fixing your credit. It costs you money when you delay learning or just simply asking questions. Because while you're waiting, life keeps moving. Somebody else gets an idea and they move. While you're waiting, the prices continue to rise. Opportunities keep passing. Now let me show you what it looks like in real life. Let's use real estate as an example because real estate is one of the clearest ways to see how standing still can cost you. You are going to pay for a property. Either way it goes. You're either paying your mortgage or you're paying your landlord's mortgage. Every rent payment you make is helping someone else build equity. Every month that goes by, somebody else's investment is growing. So the real question becomes, are you building ownership for yourself or are you helping someone else build theirs? And that's why standing still can become so expensive because while you're standing still, the world keeps moving forward. Fear has stopped more people from building wealth than the lack of money ever has. Fear, that word, fear. Fear has stopped more people from building wealth than the lack of money ever has. See, someone says, I'll start investing when I make more money. I'll start saving when I make more money. Then they say, I'll start when I learn more. Then they say, I'll start when the market feels safer. I'll start when the interest rate go down. And before they realize it, 5 years have passed, and that is how fear quietly delays your progress. One of my favorite leadership teachers, John Maxwell, wrote a book called Failing Forward. I want you to get this book, and I want you to read it, but I don't want you to rush through the book. I want you to read it slowly, highlight, write some things down, but I also want you to apply it. Apply it to your life, because failure is not the opposite of success. That's what he says in this book. Failure is part of success. Every mistake teaches you. Every setback prepares you, and every lesson strengthens you. The sooner you try, the sooner you grow. The more you try, the wiser you become. So before we close today, I want to bring back, I want to go back a little deeper. I want to bring this back to you. Every time, everything we talked about today, from fear, procrastination, standing still, it's not just a financial thing, y'all. It's a spiritual thing too. See, sometimes I think people forget. People sometimes, they're waiting for everything to feel perfect before they move. But faith has never acted that way. Faith requires movement. The Bible says in James 2:17, faith without works is what? Dead. In other words, belief alone is not enough. There has to be action attached to it. And then over in Proverbs it says, Proverbs 24:16 reminds us, the righteous fall 7 times and then they rise again. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. That means failing is not failure. Getting back up, y'all, is a part of the process. So whether you're talking about life, whether you're talking about finances or real estate, the principle is all the same. Faith requires movement. You may not know every answer. You may not feel completely ready. But listen, when you move your life forward. You move your life forward. Everything I'm teaching y'all, everything I talk to y'all week by week, I've lived it. I've lived it. I've been through it. I felt the fear. I felt the defeat. I felt the delays. I felt the setbacks, the wins, the losses, the lessons. But guess what I kept doing? I kept moving. I didn't stay stagnant. I didn't become paralyzed because something didn't work. I kept moving. I kept trusting God. I kept going. I kept stepping out on faith. I kept putting action. I kept putting action behind everything I did. Oftentimes I tell people, if I don't bet on nobody else, I'm going to bet on Kirby. I'm going to bet on myself, because I know that Kirby's not going to give up. I know that Kirby's going to figure it out. I'm going to bet on myself before I bet on anybody else. I kept moving, y'all. This week, I want to challenge you, because I challenge you to save $5 a week. I challenge you not to go to Starbucks. I challenge you not to go to 7 Brew. I challenge you to get counseling. I challenge you to get accountability partners and to write things down and to read certain books. This week, read one chapter. If you can't read a whole book, read a chapter. Ask that question you've been meaning to ask. Check your credit. Go sit with a lender. Get a financial advisor. Take this step. Listen, I am Kirby the Realtor, and I'm here to help you. And remember this, ownership isn't just about real estate. Ownership is about owning your decisions, ownership of your money, ownership of your future, because the moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop standing still, and the moment you start moving forward, that's the moment your life begins to change. And that's how you begin to own a piece of America. Listen, guys, I appreciate you taking out time to listen to me today and to just share. Just being here means a lot, and I appreciate you all. Until then, let's chat next week. Come back next week for some more nuggets. We may have a special guest. You just never know. So, hey, if you got any questions, if you got any feedback, if you got something that you want to hear discussed, Listen, send me an email to kirbytherealtor@gmail.com. You can send me that email and I will respond within 48 hours, if not sooner. But y'all, listen, if there's something we need to discuss, I know some other things we got coming down the pipeline discussing how to handle your affairs and just, different things, y'all. This is things that we need to learn that we weren't taught, that you didn't know to ask. And I'm excited. I'm glad to have you guys along for the ride. One last thing, you can catch the replays at 6 p.m. if you're listening on a Thursday. But if you're listening at the YouTube, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. You can catch the replays the week after it airs on the radio. But again, until next time, bye for now. See you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Life, Finance, and Real Estate with Kirby the Realtor. You can catch us every Thursday at 12 p.m. on 92.1 WJMG, 93.1 WGDQ, and also you can listen live at 921WJMG.com or 931WGDQ.com. If you happen to miss the live recording, don't fret, we'll replay it at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you once again for listening to Life, Finance, and Real Estate.
Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Straight down, came up. God made a way. Let me tell you about it. You can sit and wait around. You can make it happen. I've been walking in the spirit. Ain't no way around it. And it's up. Yeah. And it's up. Yeah. Pedal to the metal, headed to the top. Swerving around the block, this be getting hot. It's so hot. The Holy got a purpose, I can't ever stop. I got Lamborghini mercy on me. I'm outside with the crew. Look at that, deja vu. Not with the trap, but I'm still on